Good evening, everyone. So I'm Naveen, and so now we have a talk on mass campaigns to increase Debian adoption in India. So which is by Kiran Chandra and Pratap Reddy. So Kiran Chandra is General Secretary of Free Software Movement of India, and Pratap is Treasurer for Free Software Movement of India. So let us, go through the session. Yeah.
The Free Software Movement of India congratulates all the activists and the hacktivists who have been actively involved in conducting this mini DevConf despite all the odds. I would like to share the story of the Free Software Movement of India's efforts in ensuring the Debian mass adoption, and I would just like to run you through different kinds of campaigns and why we have been successful in taking it to such a large extent in the Indian context. I think we had two choices to make. When we were about to begin the movement, when we were about to take it in a mass mode, when we wanted mass participation in every aspect of it, we understood that free software is the model that needs to be adapted to the Indian circumstances. And when we wanted to choose the free software operating system, we had the multiple options from which we could choose. The choice we made was Debian. And Debian becomes the de facto distro that we still stick to for the last 1.5 decades and more. And I would just like to share with you the story of why we chose Debian and how we have been ensuring mass participation in all the phases of adoption and also development and also for consumption among the masses. Why free software? Free software, yes. I would not be taking another session on why we chose free software because everyone here is very clear of why we choose the path of free software. Yes, we have every right to use, modify, adapt, develop for any purpose. And this has been the paradigm in the US and the Europe. What about the Indian context? Yes, these options exist. But will the Indian community or the developers in India? Come on. I'm just using the terminology which is more flexible and available today. 1.5 decades back or 2 decades back when we were just trying to engage with computers, it was the era of the third industrial revolution, or we would say that now we are in the second machine age or the fourth industrial revolution with the Internet of Things. But still then, desktop computing was still the most popular thing. Laptops were still a luxury. It is at this point in time that we had to choose a different path to build a developer community, to get into this paradigm of modifying and developing for any purpose or even adapting for multiple purposes. As the free software founders are very well defined, that we start with run the program for any purpose in the Indian context. What were the challenges that we had to face? Access to technology was an issue. Access to internet. Yes, when we started this movement, internet was a very luxurious thing. At the most, what people could opt was a dial-up modem in the year 2000. Even there was no broadband revolution in that period. Even for us too, if you had a laptop, the onboard modem that existed had proprietary drivers, so which the free software drivers were not available for it. So access to technology itself was a serious problem. Access to internet, a luxury. And also, the awareness, even when we just communicate with people, go and speak to them and say that, hey, here is the code that of billions of lines of code that is available. We would look at it and modify it to our own requirement. There was something called as mysticism around the code itself. When we just went and spoke to people, they were just considering it to be a Brahma Padartha, which cannot be understood. The conventional education system in all the engineering colleges, I would not basically compare it with the institutions of higher learning like IITs and IIScs, but even among the most meritorious colleges in the country, the maximum somebody would code when they were pursuing their course curriculum was to implement data structures with multiple programming languages. That itself, if someone is proficient with it, was guaranteed a job. Anything beyond that was being just considered to be a Brahma Padartha. So even when these options exist, yes, people, there was a kind of a mystic feeling about the availability of the code. And the last but not the least, but the first issue for us to tackle was the colonial language as a barrier. Yes, of course, friends, I really love to speak in the native language of my own, Telugu, and I would wish that if we had built technologies that would be communicating with you in the languages that you had, and maybe still we are using the language that is the colonial language which introduced it to us. They call our languages to be vernacular languages or the languages of the slaves. Yes, maybe we'll be building solutions sooner than later. Now, because we reached a different level of computing, we'll be building solutions sooner than later. But colonial language was a barrier. So this was the issue that had to be tackled first for us, for making people use the software and also make them believe that yes, dude, this code can be modified and adapted to our own requirements. So when we started with this, the path that we chose was localization, and then we progressed towards distro-make. And we wanted to take away the mysticism about the so-called Brahma Padartha, or the entire code that was available, through mass participation. This is the story that I think I'm going to share with you, or would want you all to see of how this has helped us in taking the movement forward. And any event that we do, this is a kind of a participation that we have for the inaugural sessions. And friends, removing the colonial barrier, what was the method that we chose? The weapon for us to hit the proprietary systems was localization. We wanted to show to the world that look, we can adapt it to our own requirements by modifying the code. And here is a proof of concept. And the proof of concept we chose was by localizing the Debian operating system. And we thought that removing the colonial language barrier is an important thing. And we also understand that rather than, we had multiple options. Should we really go about with doing the kernel programming, or should we make an interface, build a bridge, so that which paves the way for mass adoption and helps us in building a community that would feel that yes, I can modify the code. Let me have a deep dive into changing and modifying the code. When we started off this, when we just went to look at it, we had to look around and see what percentile of the population knows English. And this is the question that we are pondering upon. The percentage of population who say they can speak English, I'm speaking about all variants of English, be it Haryana English, be it Telugu English, be it a Melu English, be it a Tamil English, be it a Rajasthani English, be it a Bangla English, or be it any kind of an English. And if I'm able to communicate and ask in the profound way of what is your good name, that rather I import a certain things called Aapka Shubh Naam Kya Hai, and though it doesn't exist in the English vocabulary, we have brought a lot of things and the jargons into the English communicative English. Considering all of that, friends, the English-speaking population as per Liveman, the situation today, the maximum happens to be between 21 to 44 percentile. And 21 to 44 percentile is rare and found in the National Capital Region, Goa, and some parts of the northeastern states. It means that on an average, 70% of the population do not speak English. We still are stuck with the colonial barrier. Yes, in the today's context, we have solved it with mobile computing. The thumb rule, basically, people have got their own perspectives. They basically use it. And they, based on the acquaintance, is something looking at the logos, looking at the pictures, and then communicating and navigating is something what people are doing. But the internet consumption pattern also increased with the local language video content development, local language text content development. So it essentially implies that the colonial barrier that we wanted to break was an important task that we took upon, and it has helped us. So breaking the colonial barrier was something which we wanted to do. When we are trying to look at it, we figured out that the language we think and the language we speak are two different things. This precisely is the reason, because there's an interpreter in our brain that consistently translates my language of thinking into the language that I speak. That is why we have different variants of languages when we speak in English. There are different dialects. It's not just the dialects, but the way in which we pronounce, how we pronounce a different syllable also alters just because we are precisely directed by the language we think, and that influences the language we speak. Henceforth, localization was a crux to address the digital divide, and that was the issue that we took up in early 2000. Or I would say that at the dawn of the millennium, the first 8-9 years we have been spending time on just doing it. And also, as I said, what was the outcome of it? We released a Debian-based operating system called Svecha. Svecha is a Telugu word, yes, a derivative from the Sanskrit word, Swa Icha. It is freedom. In Telugu, Svecha means freedom plus, as free as in freedom, and not as in free as free food. So this was the first interface that we released, making it to Telugu. And I think doing so, it basically could draw the attention of a very large number of people. We see here that the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh released the first Telugu operating system, or Telugu interface-based operating system. I would rather say the user interface was in Telugu. And this was our proof of concept to go for an appeal, because this began with 3 people coming together who wanted to do some stuff, joined by friends in the media, journalists who really came forward. About 15 journalists came forward, helped us in making the first glossary of the 1,200 base words which were instrumental in being used for the entire operating system to be translated into the regional language. And this glossary became the basis for further translations and became a referral point, which basically was further nourished and enriched in the due course of time with friends in the media and also from the official Telugu Language Commission. And the first distro that we did was just the basic UI with 5 applications. And when we started with the public event, we were surprised that more than 3,000 people attended the release, because they all thought that, is this possible, that could we do an operating system in Telugu? Yes, but that was the first proof of concept for demystifying the thing. Is it something Herculean that we did? No. In the programming senses, was it really a tough problem, programmatic problem that we solved? No. But yes, in the Indian context, the barrier that we had to break is, yes, when 2 or 3 people, without the support of institutions of higher learning, without the support of any government institution, can do it, everyone sitting in the house can also be a party to it and modify the code. This demystification appeal was something that helped us to bust the myth. And this myth busting helped us when we made an appeal to all the 3,000 people who came there. The appeal was to modify one string every night before you go to bed. And that appeal, when we gave, 300 people signed up as volunteers. And this began our exercise, and this was when we were releasing the operating system, and subsequently we were holding sessions. This was the kind of a participation that we saw. People wanted to be a party to it, and once we started taking these activities in a mass movement mode, what we did? So these are the glimpses of some of the events where we were celebrating 26% of the entire GNOME being translated, 50% when GNOME reached 50%, and then when GNOME reached 90%. And these are the occasions and we see people participating. How did we do it with mass participation? So for now it was people were convinced that yes, we could do certain modifications. Is it so simple? Yes, it is so simple to make it into a regional language operating system. But the fun part here is, when we got the Telugu user interface released in the year 2005, February, the 9th of February, there's something very interesting happening. In the August of 2005, on the 19th of August 2005, we had the dion's of the proprietary system then, Microsoft Corporation, making a release 35 kilometers from the capital of this then composite state of Andhra Pradesh. In the presence of the Prime Minister, they said that we are also going to release our Microsoft Office in the regional language. It still has not been released. It still has not seen the light of the day. So probably, anyway, now they have changed their entire strategy itself of how are they going to deal with the free software community. And how did we achieve this? The localization sprints were conducted. Every Software Freedom Day was used as an occasion for larger participation. The last sprint that we had, for particularly to localization, when we really reached 90% of the Telugu language completion of GNOME, was the day when we had 37 locations from different parts of the globe. Telugu people across the world participated in it. There were people participating from Australia, people from Europe, people from US, different people in Bangalore, people in Chennai, and largely people in the then composite state of Andhra Pradesh. We had 37 locations, more than 1,000 participants, and 50,000 strings were localized. And this helps us reach the benchmark of 50%. And on the subsequent sprint, we reached the 90%. And this is where we said the community has a social responsibility of reaching the commons. And the community to community was the slogan that we did, and the venue was on the internet coordination. And friends, this was the next level that we took up to. We just said, yes, now, is it here that we stop and continue with the celebration? No, we had an agenda. We needed mass adoption of the free software-based operating systems. The core of the people were the student community. The core of the people were academia. The core of the people were from the industry. So we wanted all these core to be pushing towards the next level. It was here that we decided that we go to ICT projects in schools, involved more than 1,000 plus people in the development, and the core of the entire aspect has been established. And now we wanted to move further, and the slogan was, we build our own distro. We take the spirit from the Indian freedom struggle, where every woman sitting in her own house, every grandfather sitting in the house. Why women? Is because women were not allowed to come into the streets in the period of the freedom movement. They were stuck in the homes doing the household chores. It was then that every grandmother or a grandparent, even sitting in the house, were weaving their own cloth, weaving their own yarn, were thinking of an opinion that they were driving the British away from the country. We wanted to take the spirit from that and move it forward by saying that we will make our own distro. We just wanted to push the community to the next level. Yes, a core has been established. The access to technology is also an issue. Yes, we had an advantage. This was in the period of 2007. We had the advantage. Post 2007, we had the next wave of internet connectivity. There was a broadband revolution that was coming in the Indian context. And the government was pushing for the broadband. We had a better access. People could really download. The access to internet was also relatively much better when you compare it to the periods of the 2000s. Yes, it was then that we decided to build. There was an overwhelming opinion from the entire community that said that let us basically go to the schools. Go to the schools. Let's start when the kids are young. Let's catch them young and let's have the adoption from there. Yes, so henceforth we built a distribution called Bal Swechha. Bal Swechha was a custom build which drew its spirit from the Debian Junior project. The Debian Junior project was a meta package. When installed in it, it naturally gave all the applications that are required for school education. So it was a one-stop solution for us. We just took all the package from the Debian Junior, ensured that people built Bal Swechha distribution with mass participation. And why we did it with mass participation? We had an objective that in the Indian context, once people have access to technology, they would translate themselves into developers. So it is with this purpose that we took up this. Yes, there could be a suggestion that why haven't you started contributing upstream? Yes, we had an objective of building this as a mass movement because the free software, all the people who are part of the free software movement of India believe that it's not just free software. There should be free science and the society also should be free. Free as in freedom. Henceforth, we wanted to continue with mass adoption. And yes, there were a very handful number of people who were contributing upstream, but we wanted to have a massive participation into it. And henceforth, we took up this distro make session. And eSwechha was a distribution that was basically helping all the engineering and engineering research institutions. And also, we helped institutions like Geological Survey of India, NRSA, and other institutions build their own distros based on Debian. And that was when we wanted every individual to make their own distro. So Make Your Distro becomes a part of the day-to-day workshops that happen in all the engineering colleges, all the workshops that we conduct in public sector institutions, all the workshops that we conduct in private sector institutions or in the corporates. And in the academic workshops, what has been the number in the last 1.5 decades? Yes, there were close to 1,560 plus workshops. The reach was 750 plus colleges, with 1,71,600 plus participants in these workshops. I'm not speaking about the mass adoption, how many people have adopted in their own machines. We really have not tracked it. But yes, this we tracked it because we were more concentrating on building a long-term solution that we have an upstream contribution from a third world perspective. Yes, technology is political, and the third world has got a different perspective where access also is an issue. And so this is the number of academic workshops. We had summer camps. So what is a summer camp? In a summer camp, it is going to be residential. People come here, they stay from 15 days to 30 days. The longest camp that we held was for 45 days with mass participation, where we train people to go deep dive into certain aspects of the free software computing. And this all happens with Debian. From Debian packaging to installing different servers based on Debian. So Debian being the de facto operating system and the de facto solution for adoption. The last 13 years, since we started running the summer camps, we had 40 plus programs with 29,000 plus participants, and I think the least duration of the camps was 15 days. And Freedom Fest are different kinds of events where we see thousands and thousands of people adopting it now. We had, in the last 10 years, we had 15 plus festivals with 17,250 participations. It is here the Debian platform is introduced to artists, where they basically use it for multimedia purposes also. All the teasers and everything are done based on the Debian-based operating system. And is it just this that we do? No. Where we have an opportunity, yes, we have been taking it to the people there. Local book fairs are something that we have been, due to the COVID situation, yes, now there are no book fairs, but just book fairs are places where we basically take this distribution forward. And we had people taking this, and this is the count that we had, and anyone who comes to take our distro, we've been asking them to make copies of those distros and circulate it with all their friends that they have. So we really don't know, we don't have the count. The people who came and took it, bought it from us was 3,150 plus. And if we were to look at the total number of downloads, Swechha was at one point of time the most downloaded Indian language distribution over the internet. And I think with pride we say that Debian was the base operating system, and this fighting the colonial barrier was the core of the entire episode. And any avenue that we have started using it for adoption of these technologies. And crypto parties. We had 15 plus parties in 4 metro cities, where we had close to 4,850 plus participants. And the most important component are the faculty development programs. We have held it in 450 plus colleges, where 21,000 plus academic faculty have embraced the adoption. And this embracement of the Debian-based operating systems has helped in mass migrations in different engineering colleges. And this initiative of mass adoption, mass consumption, mass participation has been endorsed by the former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And the most important thing, I think I would like to bring it to your notice, the Bal Swechha OS adoption. We would go to the government schools and put our entire focus there. Why? Precisely because of 2 reasons. One, because of the midday meal program that we have in the schools, in government schools, all the parents are sending girls to these schools and their boys to the English medium schools in the private sector. So there is a gender discrimination. We wanted the girls who are being neglected in the society to be having access to computers. I think here is a video that you should see before I continue my experience on this Bal Swechha OS adoption.
Bal Swechha is an initiative to bridge this digital divide. In this effort, a free software operating system was built by Swechha volunteers. A pilot project was then conducted in different government schools. In order to measure the impact, we conducted a test before introducing Bal Swechha with not so good results. Students were then introduced to the applications in Balaswecha, which provide a virtual lab environment and have a practical approach to learning. And the result, a 140% jump in the average test scores.
Yes, we had 250 plus schools since we started the program. 1,000 teachers trained in 5 different trainings. We have UNICEF collaboration, and now we are basically implementing it in Kasturba schools. Kasturba, there are schools for women, particularly deprived girl students. They're called Kasturba Vidyalayas, based on the name of Kasturba Gandhi. And these are the schools that we have been ensuring Debian-based mass adoption. And the education program colleges, the core from where all the school teachers are trained, are the B.Ed colleges. In that we are working on the curriculum framework itself for the adoption of Debian-based distributions. And interesting part of it is, in the engineering colleges, eSwecha is the distribution that is adopted. Lab migrations during the camps, wherever a camp is conducted, wherever a workshop is conducted, that lab is completely transformed into Debian lab, Debian-based distribution called eSwecha. And we also have memorandum of understandings with colleges and through faculty development programs. These are the 3 different methods that are helping us in retaining the Debian base that we have built in different locations. In the custom distros, now I'm proud to say that there are different institutions that want to have their own distributions. So there are custom distributions in different colleges, different universities, which have made it as a pattern in the Swecha learning centers and Swecha development centers. And personal distro mix and home adoptions are continuing to go. And now there is a very small but very strong and influential section in the society, the literary personalities and literary groups and Telugu publishing houses, which are adopting Debian and free software for day-to-day work. And this is an earlier version of eSwecha. And the scale of activity in the last 13 years, I'm proud that this has been achieved with the selfless, dedicated free software hacktivists and developers, that we were in a position to reach 250,000 plus number of people who were introduced to Debian adoption. And when we look at it, the number, yes, what we could achieve was equal to the size of any moderate city's population in the West. But when you look at the Indian scenario, Indian population, yes, we are far behind. I think in the future coming days, we'll be moving on to the other platforms also. And the way forward, I believe that we need to be here on the edge computing, Debian on mobile, particularly Mobian, and liberating hardware, the SoCs and IoTs. The software on the chip and the Internet of Things is something that we'll be focusing in building the community with Debian adoption, Debian development. And I hope to see that all the people who have been adopting Debian for their own purposes also contribute back in being a part of the upstream contribution to the Debian. Thank you, folks. This has been the story from the Free Software Movement of India, and I really enjoyed talking to you all. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Professor Pratap Reddy, Working Chairman Swecha, Treasurer, Free Software Movement of India. Would like to share the policy intervention and the experiences in Swecha as well as FSMI with regard to Debian adoption in India. In India, the policy intervention has to be integrated with the mass campaigns. Just policy change will not be sufficient, but it has to be taken as a mass campaign while we are implementing or translating the policy into its reality. So we choose the education as a place for policy intervention, especially technical education, where large number of students opted for technical education in India, is the place where the policy intervention and mass campaigns can be integrated. This is where Swecha has started its activity in the policy intervention part somewhere around 2007 onwards. In India, universities will decide the syllabus pertaining to every course and the institutions, technical institutions which are part of the university has to follow the syllabus, and it has to be taught in the curriculum, which is a mandatory part. So when we look at the policy level intervention as part of the syllabus, where the Board of Studies will decide the syllabus all the time. Mostly Board of Studies meetings will be conducted once in every 2 years. In the state of Andhra Pradesh, our experience is that most of the institutions are affiliated to one of the technical institutions called Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University. We started looking at the place of intervention initially through Board of Studies. So first year is common for all branches in the entire university, where 400,000 students used to study in a single university. The first year students will be around 100,000 students. There are few subjects which are computer related subjects which has to be taught to all the students, and these subjects are common. One is the IT workshop, the other one is the programming course. IT workshop has been designed in such a way that the office tools as part of the application software and the operating system plus the hardware, which is also a part of the syllabus. So in this case, most of the syllabus has been already designed around Microsoft. The reason being, Microsoft has been used in India, especially in the state of Andhra Pradesh, because of the relation between the Microsoft and the state government as such. So the universities followed it. When we intervened here, what we actually did, we tried to convince the Board of Studies of the computer science stream, where the first year syllabus related to computer science or computers are being designed. The simple approach that we adopted here is to add fast alternative wherever we find Microsoft in the syllabus. So once we just made this simple change, it allowed all the institutions to follow either Microsoft or adopt any other free software platform as a basic requirement for the first year level. So most of the institutions used to have one computer laboratory, centralized computer laboratory, which is allocated to first year students for the purpose of both IT workshop as well as the first year programming language course. The impact of a simple change in the first year level syllabus from the past 13 years, around 1.3 million students have been introduced Debian. This is how we'll be able to provide huge amount of impact. But the question is that we need to translate the decision into reality with the help of mass campaign only. The second aspect of our intervention is not just computer science stream, but other branches of engineering are also exposed to various application softwares, especially the branches electronics and communication engineering, electrical and electrical engineering, electronics and instrumentation engineering. Such branches are available apart from computer science engineering and computer science and IT. So for every branch of engineering there used to be a separate BOS meeting which decides the syllabus for that particular branch of engineering. Now when we look at the second and third and final year students, if they do not belong to computer science stream, naturally after the first year they used to forget the Debian also if these circuit branches and other branches adopt the proprietary software. So here we also attempted to change the existing application software that is there in the syllabus, but we also found the similar kind of approach where the application software, proprietary application softwares like MATLAB, like SPICE, like Mentor Graphics, like CAD software. So all these things, when they were actually placed in the BOS, we requested the BOS members and we convinced the BOS members that there are alternatives in free software. So once we convinced these BOS members to provide the alternatives or to include the alternatives in the syllabus, they started just adding another simple sentence apart from the proprietary software / fast alternatives. They used to mention, some of them used to mention the alternatives in detail. Whenever there is a MATLAB mentioned in the syllabus, they used to mention /octave /scilab. So such kind of changes, once they were introduced, then the university faculty, the institutional level faculty, they have a chance to implement them in their institutions. So this is where the circuit branches started migrating to free software, and this is where the eSwitcher played an important role. Since the eSwitcher is integrated with these application softwares along with Debian on a Debian platform, so it became easy for us to actually penetrate our eSwitcher distribution or Debian adoption into various institutions. So institutional level activity is also equally important. That's why when we actually look at the institutional level intervention, we found that the decision makers has to be convinced a lot. The reason being, most of the time people who actually decide which is to be adopted what, they will be exposed to one particular software or they will be exposed to the software which they are using from the past 5-6 years or many years. Changing the previous experience to a new approach really is a cumbersome job. It's a difficult task. So because the laboratories, manuals, experiments, all of them have been decided by that time. So institutional level decision makers will hesitate to migrate. So this is where Swechha has done a lot of effort to convince the institutional level decision makers. There we used to provide alternative laboratory manuals. We used to provide workshops on the alternative softwares. So here departmental level activity becomes more and more important. There are two things which we need to provide. One is lab migration at the department level and also faculty training at the department level. So both of them we used to adopt, even if it is required for the faculty who are in charges of the laboratory. We used to go them, we used to discuss with them, we used to provide them the laboratory manuals, we used to showcase them that this is possible. So here decision makers has to be convinced, faculty has to be given training, and the laboratory in charges has to be provided training. So at all levels the mass campaign approach will definitely be helpful. Interestingly, the applications, when it comes to the applications of the circuit branches, it's very, very important that we need to provide training for a different cross section of people. When laboratory in charges are there, who might be a simple a technical person, who might not be a faculty member, even we have to consider them, training for them as a separate event. So laboratory in charges, laboratory staff have been trained separately on separate occasions, and Swechha has done that kind of an activity. Now in this scenario, as earlier mentioned by Kiran Chandra, a separate distro for institutions also became an interesting phenomena, and this is where institutions like CBIT, MJIT, institutions like KLU have asked for distros for their institutions in their own name. So this became a kind of activity for Debian adoption in those institutions. When we try to look at the overall impact of this, the second, third, final year students of circuit branches over 10 years period, we found that 400,000 students plus have been introduced the Debian. The second aspect is that faculty actually, once they were convinced, they allow the students not only to adopt Debian, but also they encourage coming students to adopt Debian. So the ecosystem in the institution becomes more and more helpful for the Debian adoption. That's why just first year syllabus change is insufficient. We need to encourage the ecosystem as a whole in the college, and the approach is the circuit branches not only changing the syllabus but also implementing them in the institution. So once we start implementing them in the institution, naturally faculty members will definitely help continuation of the adoption. So that is a serious aspect in this. Apart from these experiences, the national level initiatives are also important for us, which I would like to share. The Free Software Movement of India has an initiative called Academicians Initiative as part of FSMI. The Academicians Initiative has implemented various activities in different states. In the state of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, the activity of Academicians Initiative is vibrant. But in other states like West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, we have vibrant groups, and these groups started acting upon as far as the academic activity is concerned, especially with regard to the adoption of free software and in particular the Debian adoption. So when it comes to the National Convention for Academics and Research, one of the important aspects in the NCAR is providing the faculty members who came from other states an exposure to free software and also Debian. So we have two sessions which has been planned for all the faculty members. One session is on how to migrate the laboratory from proprietary software to free software or eSwechha. That is one session. The second session, how to build a distro based on Debian. These two sessions, many faculty members participated in these two sessions. They have got a lot of exposure on these two. Apart from this, I would like to tell you one more experience. AICTE, All India Council for Technical Education, is the body which decides the regulation for the engineering stream. They used to decide the number of seats, and they used to decide the permission for a particular institution to continue or to close. So AICTE has gone with agreement with Microsoft, where Microsoft provided Office 365, which is made mandatory for all the institutions to use it. FSMI has intervened into this policy. It argued the AICTE not to make it mandatory. So once the free software movement intervened in that, AICTE has removed the clause, mandatory clause. So once the mandatory clause is removed, then most of the institutions where the academicians and the policymakers at the institution level who are vibrantly supporting the free software, they immediately stopped Office 365, and this made us to increase or to sustain the adoption of Debian in the institutions. So this is an important intervention which was made by the free software movement. Keeping in view of these experiences, I would like to mention the future aspect of the policy intervention. The changes are coming in multiple ways. The universities played an important role earlier, no doubt about it, but now the autonomous institutions are coming. So every autonomous institution will have its own board of studies. Every autonomous institution will have its own academic councils. So academic council will play an important role to decide the policy of the institution as a whole, especially which are common to all the students, like first year subjects, or the subjects which are of interest for future, maybe the AI, ML, IoT kinds of subjects which are coming up, the associated laboratories which are common to all students. In such case, the academic council play an important role. The board of studies, for every branch, for every stream of study, we need to intervene. So now our approach has to be in such a way that we need to intervene at board of studies as well as academic councils in autonomous institutions. When it comes to universities, private universities are coming in a big way in India, keeping the universities, government universities as it is. So in both the cases, we need to intervene in the board of studies level. And also, we need to regularly interact with the policymakers and mention the changes, mention the kind of application softwares that are coming up in the free software. That's how we'll be able to keep track of the policymakers, understand the developments in the technology domain and also in the OS level, and also how these changes will help the students as well as institutions. As such, this is the way in which we need to integrate the policy decisions along with the mass campaigns. So once we integrate, what we'll get is the sustenance as a whole, and also the intervention can be more and more sustainable and effective in a long term. These are the experiences which we have in Swechha as well as Free Software Movement of India. Thank you for giving an opportunity for sharing these experiences.